So good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Helena. I'm the Executive Director with the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce, and I am so excited for today. This webinar is here to help you grow your business. The mission of the Greater New York Chamber, who represents 30,000 different business and civic leaders, whether you're local, regional, national, or international, is to help you grow your business. If you grow your business, the economy flourishes. And everyone on this panel is here to help you do that, to provide information to help you grow your business globally. So right now, we have a chat going on. Someone just asked, can you be seen? No, you can't be seen, but we have a chat going on. So put your information in the chat. Each panel person is going to be giving a 10-minute presentation, give or take. We'll do a brief Q&A afterwards. We're going to be putting the information in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat, asking questions. And then at 10:45, after each panel person makes their presentation, we'll have an open discussion in the chat and have the questions answered. This is being recorded. It will be on Chamber TV, chamber.nyc. And then on the homepage, we have Chamber TV for the presentations. As long as, so you'll get, everything will be, the presentation will be there for viewing. So right now I am going to introduce our panel. We have Richard Foy. He is the Regional Director, Export-Import Bank of the United States, who is going to do the first presentation. Then we have Carmela Mamis. She's the Director, New York U.S. Export Assistance Center for the U.S. Department of Commerce. And then we have Man Lee Lin from the SBA, and she's the Economic Development Specialist for the Metro New York District Office for the U.S. Small Business Administration. And then we also have a chamber member, very active in our international committee, and his name is Wes Brown, and he is from Alliance Trade. So right now we are all going to start. I'm going to turn it over to Richard from Ex-Im Bank and take it away. And if you have any questions from the attendees, put your questions in the chat. We will be monitoring it. Richard, you're muted.
All right. You
There
can
you
hear
go.
me now, I think.
Perfect.
All right. Sorry, this is my first Zoom. So I have to get used to this. Okay. Thank you very much, Elena, for having us. The Greater Chamber has been a great supporter of Ex-Im Bank, and I'm excited to present what it is we do and how we support the exporting community with you today. I know this is kind of a packed agenda. We have some great speakers here, so I'm not going to take too much time. This should be around 10 minutes, and I'll give you a basic feel for what it is we do. I'll start with who we are, which is important to understand that Ex-Im Bank, we are a small U.S. government agency. We were established in 1934 as part of the New Deal with the focus of growing U.S. jobs through export. Exporters are known to grow their business at a faster rate and be more sustainable than those businesses that don't export. So naturally, we focus on this sector. We don't compete with the private market. We look to fill gaps where the private sector can't or is unwilling to provide coverage or support. So we work very closely with private insurers and lenders. We are headquartered out of Washington, D.C. and operate out of 12 regional offices. I'm the regional director for the Northeast, covering New York up to Maine. And I'll show you here, we're going to go kind of back and forth, but at a high level, our programs support you in the following ways. When an exporter needs funds to fulfill orders, so they get an order, they need to produce or procure the goods that are going to be exported, our working capital loan program is fantastic. It's not a direct loan program. We work with the lenders that you typically work with, so your bank, and we stand behind a loan that they make to you in the form of a guarantee. So if there is a default, then we pay the bank back a percentage, and then we work the loan out with you. Other cases are you'll need to extend credit, open payment terms to your foreign buyer to be more competitive. That our export receivable insurance is an excellent tool that can help you in this regard. It puts you in a good position to establish and extend credit to your buyer, but you're protected on the downside because, again, like the bank, if your buyer fails to pay you, then we'll pay you, and then we work it out with the buyer. In our foreign buyer finance, you might have a need where you're selling capital equipment, larger ticket items, and they need a few years to pay for that, your foreign buyer. So we have a program very similar to the working capital where we work with a lender. They'll extend credit to your foreign buyer and we guarantee it. So if there's a default, we make them whole. We're very much small business focused. So despite what you may hear in the news, when you hear of XM Bank, that you hear about MOUs with various countries of very large magnitudes and large deals for Boeing and Caterpillar and GE, those large deals, we're actually very much small business focused. 88% of our transactions in 2022 were for small business. The majority of those were under $500,000, 54%, and 1.5 billion in total authorizations were for the small business community. So that is meaningful, and our programs are very much geared towards growing small business. We're also a minority and women-owned focused. I mean, so the minority, when we talk about, it's not only racial. We're talking about the minorities in the sense that just underserved communities. All right. So we have 166 outreach and education events similar to this that were focused on these underserved communities. And this can be minorities, women, veteran-owned, owners with disabilities, Native Americans, so on. 350 million of support were given to minority and women-owned business in 2022. So now I'll dig into the programs specifically here. Credit insurance is probably one of the best programs as far as making an impact on business, particularly small business. It's basically an insurance policy that covers the receivables generated from an export sale. So it protects you against non-payment from the foreign buyer. And that's great. From a risk mitigation standpoint, this is an excellent tool by itself. But it can also be a sales tool, because in many cases, your foreign buyer, they just won't buy from you if you can't provide terms. They need to be able to receive the goods, sell them in order to pay you. It's that cash flow. And if you are requiring cash in advance, you're limiting their ability to purchase more and sell more, and limiting your relationship with that company. So it can be absolutely a competitive tool. In addition to that, when you have an insured accounts receivable, now that becomes an asset that lenders like. They will advance money on an insured receivable. So it increases your borrowing base as well. So like I said, it can be a sales tool that we offer up to 180 days generally, and it doesn't have to be in blocks, but we talk about when a rate standpoint, from a rate standpoint, we have rates that are in the 1 to 60 day term bucket, 61 to 90, and then 91, to 120, and so on. So the rates increase the longer the tenor. But it's generally pretty competitive. I don't see our cost being a deterrent for people not using it. Certainly probably not as competitive as West will go through, but we're competitive nonetheless, especially given the markets that we tend to focus on, which are the smaller companies. Like I said, risk protection and financing aid, we went through those. So this export credit insurance is just such a powerful tool when engaging with the international community. Absolutely give me a call if you want to learn more about this program. I'll move on because time is short. Our working capital guarantee. So this is a guarantee to a commercial lender. It's not a direct loan to the borrower. It's a loan. It's a guarantee provided to the commercial lender making a loan to the exporter for the purpose of procuring or producing goods for export. Our guarantee allows you to unlock additional cash flow because we allow lenders to advance at a higher rate on export related inventory, as well as work in progress, as well as raw materials, where usually they don't want to advance on that. So given all things being equal, you're able to unlock a lot more working capital with our program and a bank than without. So you can borrow this with the same collateral, secure performance and bid bonds as well at a lower rate. You may receive money in advance. Let's just say you have a $500,000 contract. You receive $100,000 advance payment, but your foreign buyer says, well, we need a standby letter of credit. We need some sort of guarantee. So if you don't perform in accordance to the contract, we want to be able to claw back our money. You would go to your bank and you'd say, well, look, I have $100,000. I need a standby letter of credit. They'd say, great, park the $100,000 and then we'll issue that. But that really doesn't help you because you wanted the $100,000 in order to start production of these goods. In our same scenario, if you have a working capital loan guarantee, we would only require 25% collateral. So in the same cash equivalent, you would need to park $25,000 to obtain that $100,000 letter of credit. So we provide a 90% guarantee in this program to lenders. It can be set up as a transaction specific or a revolving line of credit. We don't have a minimum or maximum amount, but I will say lenders choose which guarantee program they use. And ultimately, if it's under, I'll say 1 million, but more than likely 2 million, if it's under that amount, they'll usually choose an SBA a guarantee over us. And again, loan support advances made against export related and potentially export related inventory, and that includes WIP, foreign receivables, and so on. Our medium-term program, I'll wrap up with this. We have this provides up to 85% financing to the foreign buyer. They come in with 15% cash, or it can be financed from another lender. Typically, it's a loan up to 5 years and $25 million or less. That's usually what fits in this particular program. Larger or longer terms usually go into long-term financing, but that's out of the scope for this discussion. A few restrictions: we cannot, unlike the SBA, we cannot handle any military or defense related products. The goods must ship from a U.S. port, so it's going to be a true export. And we are open in over 180 countries. They can be viewed by looking at our country limitation schedule. That's available on our website, xm.gov. You'll be able to look at each country and see where we are open, where we're not open for coverage, and where you may need to do something additional. Okay, there might be some notes in there. The eligibility criteria for our programs: so the goods must be 50% or greater U.S. content. We look for a 3-year operating history and a positive net worth for the companies. The company must have a DUNS number as well as a UEI, a unique entity identifier, and that you get from sam.gov. And we like to have the request in proportion to the exporter's size. So if you're a $2 million company and you're asking for a $20 million working capital facility, that doesn't really jive. So we like to have things right sized. And this is my contact information. I think we're going to be sharing this. If not, take a picture of this and feel free to contact me. If you just want to discuss your business, see how we can possibly fit into it and help you export more. And I'll leave it at that because we're gonna do questions after.
Yeah, so if you
Take
have
over
any
you.
questions, thank you so much, Richard. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. If I see something right now, if you have like, we have like a minute or two, put the, that I can answer directly for Richard. I know that he talked and presented a lot of great information. Like I said, for those who just popped on, this is going to be recorded. Richard, can you just put your, okay, we're going to post everyone's contact information at the end. We'll go around the computer for the panels so everyone can take a screenshot. Like I said, it is being recorded. You can also contact myself and get Richard's information. So Richard, thank you so much. So, great information going on. Next, we have Carmela Mamis, and she is the director of New York U.S. Export Assistance Center for the U.S. Department of Commerce. So going global with your business, take it away, Carmela. Very interested in this.
Oh, thank you so much, Helene, and it's a pleasure to work closely with you over the years. My name is Carmela Mamis. As Helena said, I'm the Director of U.S. Commercial Service in New York City. I've been with the agency over 30 years in the New York, New Jersey area. And the mission of my agency is to grow, U.S. exports and inward investments to increase U.S. jobs. Similar to Rich, our programs are designed to create U.S. jobs. And my agency is part of the U.S. Department of Commerce's International Trade Administration. We have a U.S. Export Assistance Center in Lower Manhattan, where we're co-located with U.S. Export-Import Bank's regional office, where Rich is also based, and a trade finance regional manager for SBA. So we call it a U.S. Export Assistance Center because we're trying to provide a one-stop shop for U.S. exporters. And our whole mission is to help U.S. companies to export goods and services. And then also for those who are on the line from international locations, we also have our Select USA program, and we support and encourage foreign companies to invest in the United States. So this is our global footprint. There's over 100 offices like mine across the US. So if you're not located in the New York City area, I'd be happy to introduce you to our colleagues in other parts of New York State. For example, we have an office in Buffalo and White Plains, and in New Jersey, we have 2 offices, with one being, in Newark. We also have an office on Long Island. So, and then we're in over 80 countries, and you can see from the dots, the blue dots, where we have international offices. Our international offices are the commercial section of the American embassies, and we hire local staff in those international markets who know the language and the culture, and they really are our, feet on the ground. And they're managed by American officers. So really, we're trying to provide worldwide coverage where we don't have an office. For example, in Africa, we don't have a lot of offices, we have a handful. We can help US companies expand to the other countries through our partnership with the US State Department's economic officers. Our programs are categorized, excuse me. Our programs are grouped into about 4 areas: export counseling and investment promotion. So providing export counseling to US companies from A to Z. And then of course, I mentioned the investment promotion counseling for inward investment. We also have market intelligence, the sort of main website for export information and market research information is trade.gov, trade.gov. Our sweet spot is business matchmaking. For example, we can organize one-on-one meetings for US companies internationally, whether it be virtually or in person. So we have a specialty on matchmaking US companies with the right pre-qualified potential importers and distributors and other types of partners, such as systems integrators and retailers. It goes on. And then we also support domestic and international trade events for any international companies on. We do lead trade missions also to US shows that we certify. My colleagues overseas lead those missions. So if you're interested in any of those, I could introduce you to my colleagues in the country that you're based. Then we also offer commercial diplomacy, where we're just supporting the interests of US companies. If there's any trade barrier, for example, that's affecting a whole industry of companies. And then we also can advocate for US companies to win foreign government projects. And yeah, this is my contact information. I think I caught up, so we can get back on track a little bit. I'll leave it there. Happy to answer any questions. We do have an upcoming program if you're in the New York metro area. It's called Discover Global Markets Europe. So if you are a US company manufacturing a US good or service, you would be eligible to attend our Discover Global Markets Europe Eurasia Conference in New York City in Lower Manhattan on September 12th. Thank you so much for the time, Helena. I'm happy to talk, answer any questions later or as a follow-up to this webinar. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I have a delay, so I apologize about that. Thank you so much, Carmela. And I just want to let you know that we work hand in hand. We do export documentation. Real brief story. Someone from overseas, the U.S. Department of Commerce from Vietnam, happened to needed some more information from our export documentation. We do certificates of origin, free sale, and GMPs. So we worked hand in hand to provide that information. So we work, it's a one-stop shop. Carmela sat there and said, one-stop shop with Richard and Carmela and Manlev that we're going to get to in West. That's what we're all about, putting this information, getting it out to you, putting it into the hands of businesses. So Carmela, thank you. And thank you for what you do. And we're so appreciative. So thank you. Next, we have Manly Lynn from the SBA. We're really excited about this presentation. She is the Economic Development Specialist for the Metro New York District Office for the U.S. Small Business Administration. And you can actually see her. She comes onto our online networking to hear the concerns of small businesses on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. So Manly Lynn, we so appreciate everything that you do. Take it away.
Thank you so much. I have a lot of information, but you will receive this PowerPoint. So just see what's available for you. So SBA right now, we have more than 30 different languages for all of our information. So please visit sba.gov. We provide education and one-on-one counseling through our resource partner. So including U.S. Export Assistance Center that you already heard about it. So SBA, we have an Office of International Trade. So that will be your first point of contact if you're thinking about, exporting. So 96% of consumers live outside of the U.S. That's why we really encourage you to think about expand your business to the global market. And 2/3 of the world's purchasing power is in foreign countries. So you should get counseling from experts and then find buyers and then get funding from SBA and also Richard Foy just talked about. So I list here, this is a website that you can find the participating export lenders here nationwide. So SBA, we work directly with small businesses through the Export Assistance Center. So you can get those information. So this is the SBA's program. I will go to each of the items. The first one, SBA, we have 3 international trade loans. So the first one is Export Express loan. You can borrow up to $500,000. Export working capital up to $5 million, and international trade loan up to $5 million. This is the contact information of our hotline, okay, the international trade hotline. So I will go to the detail of the 3 international trade loan. So this is Export Express. You can borrow up to $500,000. The revolving lines of credit is less than 7 years, and SBA response time to the lenders, it will be 24 hours. So SBA, we guarantee the loan to the lenders. And so you can contact the lenders. That's why I post the lenders list for you. The export working capital loan that you can help you generate your export sales and need additional working capital. You can borrow up to $5 million. The line of credit terms is 12 months or less. SBA turnaround time is 5 to 10 business days. So you can see the detailed information of each of the loan. And then third one, this is a long-term, is international trade loan. This is a long-term financing. Even include your fixed assets for construction, building, real estate equipment, and for working capital for export transactions. You can borrow up to $5 million. So for the maturity time, depends on what's the use of it. If you, for the real estate, can go up to 25 years, okay? So this is the 3 international trade loans, but I also want to provide you, SBA have other loans, because if you go to a lender, they're not our SBA's international trade loan partners. You can talk about the 7A loan. 7A loan go up to $5 million. And right now we simplify all the procedures for the lenders. So you can contact the lenders. You can use the 7A loan for almost everything, including refinance your debt. So this is right now, this is new programs. We call small 7A loan. We can borrow up to $350,000. This is the only programs extended from pandemic. And this is the express programs. You can borrow up to $500,000. I have all the details here for you. We also have cap lines. So there are 4 sub cap lines here. One is for seasonal cap line, and have the contractor, the contract cap line, and builders cap line, and working cap line. So please, if you have questions, please contact me. So the SBA, we first things, we hope everyone talk to the experts, and then you can find the local assistance too. Other than the Export Assistance Center, you can contact our SBDC SCORE and the Women Business Center. Then second things you should do is start developing your export plan. Right now, actually the international trade loan that I mentioned, SBA tried to broaden the definition of exporter. Even you are not an exporter, but if you sell your product or provide services for the exporter, you can use our international trade loan. But you need to have your marketing plan, show that you do the marketing to the foreign countries. So tourism, of course, financial services and design. That's most of the industry that in New York, we have the international trade. Also, even the private college, if they have foreign students, they can use our international trade loan. So do not limit yourself, just talk to our lenders to find a situation. So I just put here for the marketing plan that for your references. So you can draft your marketing plan and then bring the draft to our small business development center. They can help you. The second things I want to mention is we SBA, we provide funding, we provide grants to all the states that to help the exporters. So we you can learn from the website. So learn to export and participate in foreign trade missions and design your international marketing products and campaigns. Support your website globalization and e-commerce capabilities, and also pay for, if you participate U.S. Department of Commerce and other federal agencies training, you can use the grants. This is grants, is not loan, okay? And also participate in export, trade show, exhibits, and training workshops. So in New York State steps, actually, they can reimburse your expenses up to 70%, all your expenses, if you participate with their training mission. So please check out, we have webinars list here, and also contact the staff. I have the website link here for you. So this is what the approved staff funds can help the business with. So please go to their website and also read this description. So we are all here for you, okay? So this is all more information that you can find on our website. Just to let you know, SBA's, we have a lot of information, and you need to learn a lot of regulations for different countries, okay? So, okay, I will just stop here, then we will go to.
Thank you so much, Manly Lynn.
Thank you.
We're gonna, you know what, Wes Brown from Alliance Trade is gonna go ahead, and then we're gonna answer questions. What with the SBA, there is so much information, and we also have done a one-on-one with Manly Lynn on Export Global, and also we've done a one-on-one presentation with Exim Bank, and we've had these presentations. They are on Chamber TV, but today we wanted a collaborative, show of force international trade, because we all work together. It's a one-stop shop. So right now I have from Wes Brown. He's a member of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce, and he's going to make his presentations. I see the questions in the chat. We're going to do at 11:45, we will answer them. So put your information in the chat and we will be reviewing. Wes, take it away. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you everybody for joining. My name is Wes. I'm the agent covering the Northeast region for Alliance Trade. You may have heard of us. We're the company that sometimes offers you flight insurance if you're booking with American or Delta. But what I'm here to talk to you about today is trade credit insurance and how that works and how we're helping our customers gain a competitive advantage, expanding overseas into new markets, offering the right terms to the right companies with little to no risk to their own business. So we covered some of this earlier, but what is trade credit insurance? We like to call it the Swiss Army knife of business solutions. That's because it can be used any number of ways. The most straightforward is protection against an unforeseen loss. Many companies I work with are owner operated, and these are family businesses that if they take a hit on their accounts receivable, it can really put their business at risk. Insuring your accounts receivables removes that risk, and it's really that simple. However, what happens for most companies is that this policy actually becomes a revenue center for their company, because it gives them a little bit more comfort expanding into new markets, whether they're domestic or whether they're overseas. If you are dealing with a new company that you have a few questions about, maybe their financial situation or their ability to meet their debt obligations, you put them into our database. And if you have insurance, you're good to go. Many of the companies that I work with may not necessarily also have may not be able to afford a full-time credit manager, somebody who's going to follow up on applications, check bank references, credit, trade references, credit scores, and follow up on past dues. So for a fraction of what you would pay a full-time employee, you can outsource that entire process to Allianz Trade and add our credit team to your back office. And one thing that we're going to do that a credit manager certainly won't is if they fail to pay you, then we're going to pay you out of our own pocket and make it right. So the last reason is financing, and I can get into that a little bit later. But first, I just want to talk about some of the trends we're seeing and why it's such a good time to start thinking about ways that you can protect your company's cash flow. So your accounts receivables, typically the largest asset of any company, but unlike your buildings and your vehicles, your land, it remains uninsured. It's kind of funny when you think about it. And whether you like it or not, regardless of how healthy your company is, you're always at the mercy of your clients paying their bills on time and their financial strength. The AR is the lifeblood of your business. And just in May, we released some information about our first quarter's claims data that I want to share. So you can see here, this breaks it down by sector, but the bottom line is that claims in the first quarter of this year are up 269% by dollar value, and they're up 141% in volume of claims. And I don't share with this with you because I want to scare you, but I want you to ask yourself, how many companies do I have with a balance close to an amount that might impact my business? How many companies do I have with an outstanding balance over that comfort level, right, over that exposure? So I hear this all the time as well. Our accounts receivable, they are good as gold and they're rock solid. Well, here's a list of companies that were once considered to be very strong until they weren't. These are household names: Blockbuster, Sears, Toys R Us, and I don't want to beat this to death. The fact of the matter is that even if you think the probability of somebody on your aging report is not going to pay you, even if you think that probability is very low, 1 out of 100 to 1 out of 200, the fact of the matter is that insuring them is going to cost you less. And that's why some of the companies, some of the largest companies of the world, choose to work with Allianz Trade. It's because mathematically, it just makes sense. So the policy pays out in 3 events. First is bankruptcy. In this scenario, we typically pay within the first 60 days, regardless of whether we collect the original debt, and we take your place as the unsecured creditor. We're also going to have a larger seat at that table because we're not just representing you, but we're representing hundreds of other policyholders that have a shared interest in that company. The second one is slow pay. This is by far the most frequent claim that we have, maybe 90% of our claims. If you have an outstanding debt with a company that you are no longer interested in doing business with, you file a claim with us, we will pay you, and then we will take them to our own collections department. Again, you're covered whether we collect or not. And the last one is a little bit more rare, but becoming more and more relevant: political risk. This policy covers you in the event of a currency freeze or an embargo. Again, a little more rare, but could be important depending on where you're planning to sell into, which countries. So all the companies that I'm speaking with, they're looking for new ways to grow. With those new opportunities comes new risk. My job is to eliminate as much of that risk as possible so that you can see that growth. For those of you looking to expand overseas, we have an office on every continent, and every company is underwritten at the local level, which means that we have boots on the ground who can help you. Now, I like to tell people I'm going to be the best salesman for your company. I work for less than minimum wage. And if I don't make this policy profitable for you in your first year, then you can fire me. So I want to ask you, how much could you sell if credit wasn't an issue? Has anybody asked for more credit than you were comfortable extending them? If the payments were backed by insurance, then what's to stop you from selling under those terms? That's how we make an immediate impact on your bottom line. I said I'm going to be your best salesman. I'm also going to be your best credit manager. That's because we monitor 85 million companies worldwide. That's 92% of the world's GDP. And using over 30 data points, including the financial information of public and private companies, we distill all that down into a simple ranking system, 1 being the strongest, 10 being a bankrupt company. So we give you access to this proprietary platform, and it's called Allianz Trade Online. And you search a company name in this platform in seconds. You get that company's financial strength based off of the opinions of our underwriters and insurance. If they're uninsurable, then that's when you call me, and we'll see if there's some way that we can get you some coverage. Now, the last bit is financing. I'm not sure if any of you have ever explored an accounts receivable backed loan, but there's a couple of ways that we can help there. The first one is by increasing the availability. So banks will always exclude foreign receivables and concentrate what they consider to be a concentration with any single buyer, unless your accounts receivables are insured. We can also increase the advance rate. So banks will typically lend 70 to 80% based of your total AR. If it's insured, we can sometimes get that up to 90. So I know that the print is small there in the graphic, but if you can make it out, here's an example of a company. We increased their availability or their borrowing base from 15 million to 20 million. And we also increased their advance rate from 80 to 85. That resulted for this company an additional $5 million. So we can structure this policy any number of ways. Unlike your typical insurance product, this is completely customizable to your needs, and it grows with your business. So we can always do what we call a key account policy, but oftentimes what we find is that the cost of insuring your entire book is marginal. And we do have clients that choose to insure their exports only as well. But the cost typically plus or minus 20 basis points or $2 on 1,000 sold. And with that, I'll wrap up. Here's my contact information. Would love to chat with any of you, even if it's just informational, and I'll open it up to questions.
Thank you so much, Wes. Good information here. We have the panel right now. First of all, thank you for everyone's presentation. It was very, very informative. I am going to put your questions in the chat because I'm going to go through it right now. And does Richard provide financing for services as opposed, it could be for Richard and Wes. Do you provide financing for services as opposed to products? And also Carmela can get involved in this also.
We do. Service as an export is growing. When we talk to architecture or engineering firms and the like, they're all users of our programs. Those are examples. So, we want to be able to have a deliverable point, something that's, deliverable. Okay, this is the agreed, product or service. It was delivered and the time starts on the invoice. So long as we have those elements, and in our case, the service is provided by a U.S. employee, we can support it because that goes to the 50% U.S. content rule.
Carmela, do you want to weigh in on this?
Oh, yes. As you can imagine, I'm based in Lower Manhattan. My office and my team of senior international trade specialists work with many service providers. So we offer our programs in a similar fashion to service exporters as well. I just want to also add that thanks, Manly, for bringing up the export grant program under STEP, which is a federally funded export grant program facilitated through the SBA. The New York State, if you're in New York State, does have a 51% U.S. content requirement for New York State-based companies to apply for that. They currently don't have any grant money available through September. The new application process starts October 1. So if you're interested in learning more about that, definitely go there now and start developing an application. But yes, I've worked with many service exporters over the years, and another way to look at it is tourists and students who travel to the US, we also encourage that because that is an export of a service when tourists and students, foreign students come here and spend money on tuition and go to different attractions and restaurants.
Thank you for that question. Could you please expand briefly on the request must be in proportion with the export size? What's the max leverage? For example, 1.5 to 110, et cetera. Thank you.
Right. We don't have a ratio like that. What I mean to say there is that you want history to generally be the guide when we're talking about finance. Have you been involved in this size project? Have you fulfilled this size order before? If not, what are the variances here? And does it make sense from a finance standpoint to to put that money out into this new size standard? So each deal is looked at independently and on their own merits. So this is a conversation really that we can have with your bank.
Perfect. I think Manley, what's the SBA rate of interest? I don't know if you can answer this. What would be the max you mentioned? They're looking for the max.
Okay, depends on what kind of loan you're talking about. So SBA, we guarantee to the lenders. And so actually, all the business, you don't have to contact SBA, you contact the lenders. And SBA provide a policy and the regulation to the lenders, give them the maximum amount. For example, like a 7A loan is prime rate plus 2.25 to 6.25%. But it's all negotiable. So please build up a good relationship with lenders. Okay.
Perfect. I think, Carmela, do you want to weigh in? You're good?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, so any other questions? So what we're going to do, I think Manly Lynn answered the question in the chat about what are the grants worth under step, minimum and maximum amounts. I think she answered that. So take a look at that. We have one other question. Everyone's saying thank you, thank you. Do you want anyone want to do any closing remarks? Or I just wanted to say, I'm just monitoring to see if anyone has any further questions. Like I said, this is being recorded. It will be on Chamber TV. And if anyone on the panel has any closing remarks, that would be great. If not, we will close it out and put the information. Like I said, it will be on Chamber TV. Before I do, I just want to recognize a couple of people. We have Scott from Marquez. Marquez is a community partner with the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. I see Key Bank is on there. Sybil, community partner with the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce, and Rosenthal, Peter Clement is also on there. So we do have community partners on here. Just closing remarks, Wes, you have any, quick closing remarks about how important international trade is for the economy?
Yeah, I would just emphasize we're the world's largest carrier, trade credit and insurance. We have offices on every continent. If you're looking to expand overseas, there's a lot of information that we can bring to you to help you with that. And so happy to chat, even just informational, talk more about what we're seeing in the market. But yeah, I appreciate everybody's time and have a great day.
Thank you so much. Next, Richard Foy. Richard, I see that on October 19th and 20th, you guys have a conference in Washington, D.C.
We do. This is our annual conference that we have. We bring in, many of our partner organizations, as well as brokers, lenders. They'll come get up-to-date information on what XM is doing. A lot of clients also attend that event. It's a great event to really learn more and to network within the XM ecosystem.
Perfect. If you want, you can put that in, or Nicole, if she wants to put that in the chat, that would be great. Manly Lynn from the SBA, closing remark.
Yeah, thank you, Helena. So this year, SBA really hope all the business, cut your expenses and expand your business to the two market, huge market. One, of course, is global market. The other one is government contracting. So I work with Helena. We provide information. Really hope that you have a good year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Carmela.
Yes. Again, thank you so much for having me. I've been, doing this for over 30 years. So it's a passion to help U.S. companies export their goods and services, or as well as foreign companies, expand to the U.S. But I would just say for any new to exporters, do your homework. There's lots of market research information on trade.gov so that you could, see what some target markets are for you. Also, if you have export potential, because that's the first thing you want to do before you, engage. And yeah, that's, anything my office could do. We are the lead export agency for the federal government. So we have lots of contacts, whether like it would be in the New York area or otherwise. We're happy to share resources and provide export counseling. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for everyone joining us today for this informative international trade. It's really important to get this information into the business's hands so they have access to capital, access to information, and to grow your business overseas. So again, thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, I keep on emphasizing, if you want to go back to this information, it will be on Chamber TV, this whole presentation, so you can always review it in the future. And again, everyone, thank you so much for doing this. I love providing this information, and I get such great emails after these, because we do give them the opportunity to grow their business. And the more information that we provide, the better off the business is. And like I said, it's the economy, and it really drives the economy. So everyone, thank you so much. We're one day away from a weekend. Everyone stay cool. And everyone from, local, regional, national, or international, I see a couple of people that were overseas. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.